Thought you needed a little chaos in your life, falling in and out of my arms, running around like a madman, waging a war for the night. I just make it back to your heart, and I'd see it in your eyes. I'd bring out the dark in you, but I knew you were my peace, and I was your storm. I was your storm. You were my peace, and I was your storm. I was your I could see you coming like a sun in the morning. I'd hide my face under the covers, knowing you couldn't stand the silence just a little longer. I could feel the cold wind of another trying to hold me tighter, but it just ain't the same as when you came. You were my peace, and I was your storm. I was your storm. You were my peace, and I was your storm. I was your You touched my heart like it was fragile, like you were scared that it might break. You loved with quiet, careful footsteps, while I loved with everything it takes. You whispered soft into my shadows. You tried to hold me through the pain, but I love loud, I love too heavy, and sometimes heavy feels like rain. You gave me roses, I gave you storms. Still you stayed in my trembling arms. You loved me gently, I loved you hard. You healed my wounds, I left you scarred. You held me close, I held too tight. You even when you wanted to ask for more than I could give. You love like breathing, slow and steady. I love like running just to live. You waited for my broken pieces to trust the warmth inside your hands, but I was scared of being saved, so I built walls you couldn't stand. You tried to teach me how to stay, but I loved in a complicated way. You loved me gently, I loved you hard. You healed my wounds, I left you scarred. You held me close, I held too tight. You loved with calm, I loved with fight. And though we tried to meet halfway, our hearts were speaking different ways. You loved me gently, I loved you hard. Maybe love was meant to balance, but ours was heavy from the start. You carried hope inside your heartbeat, I carried fear inside my heart. If I could go back to the moment you trusted me with who you are, I learned to love you gently too, instead of breaking what we had apart. You love me gently, I loved you hard. You shine like a light, I lived in dark. You gave me peace, I gave you doubt. You let me in, I shut you out. And now I live with what we were, a love too soft, a love too hurt. You loved me gently, I loved you hard. You walked into my life like sunrise, soft and warm, you felt like home. I built my world around your footsteps, never thought you'd wanna roam. You said you loved the way I held you, like you belong right in my arms. But somewhere in your quiet breathing, you were dreaming different stars. And I could feel you slipping slow before you even chose to go. I was home, you wanted elsewhere, I stayed still. You chased the air, I held tight. You needed space, I saw forever in your face. But hearts don't always beat the same, and love won't stay just 'cause we care. I was home, you wanted elsewhere. Tried to give you what you longed for, even when it pulled you far. Because loving you meant learning, I can't compete with who you are. You needed more than quiet comfort, you needed roads I'd never choose. And sometimes loving someone deeply means understanding when you lose. Maybe leaving was your truth, my truth in two. I was home, you wanted elsewhere, I stayed still. You chased the air, I held tight. You needed space, I saw search for where you belong. I hope you find someone who holds you in a place where you feel strong. But if you ever think about me, I hope you feel a little warm. A memory of something steady in a life that's always storm. I was home, you wanted elsewhere. You needed skies, I breathed the air. You looked forward, I looked in. Love can lose before it begins. And now I know that letting go is sometimes how we love with care. I was home, you wanted I gave you all the pieces of me, even the ones I swore I'd keep. You walked into my life so softly and woke the parts I thought were asleep. I let you see the cracks inside me, the ones I hid from everyone else. Loving you felt like breathing, a way to finally find myself. But loving hard can hurt the most when you're the one who loves the ghost. I loved you with everything, with all I had and all I couldn't bring. I held you close, you held me light. I stayed through storms, you chose the night. And even when you pulled away, my heart still begged for you to stay. I loved you with everything and lost myself in what it meant. I learned your fears in quiet moments, the way you spoke without a word. You loved in shadows, soft and careful. I loved in ways you never heard. You wanted comfort, not devotion. You wanted calm, not crashing waves. But I was fire, trying to hold you, burning bright in all the wrong ways. And maybe love was meant to break when one heart gives more than it takes. I loved you with everything, with all I had and all I couldn't bring. I held you close, you held me light. I stayed through storms, you chose the night. And even when you pulled away, my heart still begged for you to stay. I loved you with everything and lost myself in what it meant. If I could love you with less weight, maybe you would have stayed longer. But I didn't know another way, and my heart was built to feel stronger. Now I'm learning how to give without breaking who I am. But a part of me will always live in the love I gave and never had. I loved you with everything, more than hope, more than spring. You held my heart with gentle hands, but never knew how deep it ran. And though it's just a memory, you still live in the best of me. I loved you with everything, even when you never went all in. I loved you with everything. I loved you with watched you drift to someone else while I held on to every piece of you. You said you needed time to think, but your eyes already told the truth. I tried to keep my heart from breaking, tried to give you space to breathe, but loving you felt like waiting for someone who would always leave. And I knew the ending long before. You walked right through a different door. You chose them, I chose you. You found another heart to run into. I stay here hoping you turn back, but love can't grow when trust cracks. I gave my all, you split into one part for me, the rest for you. You chose them, but I still chose you. I try to read between your silence. Every pause felt like goodbye. You said you didn't wanna hurt me, but the truth was living in your eyes. You needed someone less complicated, someone easier to hold. And I was loving you too deeply in ways your heart could not control. And letting go was not a choice when I was still the quiet voice. You chose them, I chose you. You found another heart to run into. I stayed here hoping you'd turn back, but love can't grow when trust cracks. I gave my all, you split into one part for me, the rest for you. You chose them, but I still chose you. Yeah, maybe in another lifetime you learn how real love really feels. Maybe you see the one who stayed was the one who held you through your fears. But in this life you loved in pieces, and none of them belong to me. Still my heart held on to someone who never chose me fully. You chose them, I chose you. You walked away, I stayed true. You look for comfort, I look for love. We broke in ways we never spoke of. And though my heart is healing slow, there's one thing I'll always know. You chose them, but I would have still chosen you. I should have taken smaller steps, but my heart was running wild. You walked in with gentle laughter, and I fell harder than a child. You didn't mean to break my rhythm, didn't ask to steal my sleep, but the moment that you smiled I was already falling deep. Oh, you held my heart without a clue, and I sank further into you. I fell too deep, too fast. You were the first, you were the last. I gave you everything I had before you even had to ask. You kept your heart behind the past while mine was rushing in to crash. I fell too deep, I fell too fast. 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 I fell too move you made, while I gave you all my colors. You gave me sketches in the shade. You said you didn't wanna hurt me, but you didn't wanna stay, yeah. And loving you felt like a sunrise that disappeared by midday, yeah. I should've slowed this beating heart, but I was captured from the start. I fell too deep, too fast. You were the first, you were the last. I gave you everything I had before you even had to ask. You kept your heart behind the past, while mine was rushing in to crash. I fell too deep, I fell too fast. Maybe love's not meant to happen in a single breath or glance. Maybe I was holding futures you were never meant to chance. But if I could go back to that moment where you smiled and changed my fate, I'd still fall just as quickly, even knowing it's too late. I fell too deep, too fast. You were the spark that couldn't last. You stayed unsure, I held on tight. We loved in different kinds of light. And though I'm learning from the past, some loves are built to break this fast. I fell too deep, I fell too fast. The place I ran to when the world felt heavy on my chest. You were the calm inside the chaos, where my broken heart could rest. I told you things I never told a single soul in all my life. You held my fears with gentle hands, like you were born to make them light. But soft can turn to distance fast, and safe can fade into the past. You were my safe place until you weren't. You promised you'd stay, but then you didn't. I held your heart, you held your distance. Love shouldn't hurt, but ours was persistent. You were my shelter when I burned. You were my safe place until you weren't. I saw the moment you stopped trying. It was quiet, but it broke me loud. You smiled as your voice got smaller. You disappeared inside a crowd. I reached for you like reflex, losing who I was myself. It's strange how comfort turns to fear when the one you love stops being near. You were my safe place until you weren't. You promised you'd stay, but then you didn't. I held your heart, you held your distance. Love shouldn't hurt, but ours was persistent. You were my shelter when I burned. You were my safe place until you safe place until you weren't. You gave me love, but not enough to prevent the quiet leaving, the slow descent, the way your heart became absent. And though it's something I've learned, you were my safe place until you were. There's a version of you I still remember, the one who laughed like summer rain, the one who held me without asking, the one who stayed through every pain. But people change the way the seasons do, and somewhere in your shifting light, you became someone I don't recognize, while I held on way too tight. You walked forward while I stood still, loving the ghost I always will. I still carry the version of you I love, the one who cared, the one who showed up. You may be gone, but you still stay in quiet thoughts and yesterday. And even though you've long moved on, my heart still plays the same old song. I still carry the version of you I love, not the one you've become. I replay moments like old movies, soft and blurry, but they feel so real. You looked at me like I was someone you never thought you'd have to heal. But time can turn warm hearts colder, and distance makes the truth unfold. You loved me once, I know you did, before your story changed its role. And though the present feels like loss, the past is something I can't toss. I still carry the version of you I love, the one who cared, the one who showed up. You may be gone, but you still stay in quiet thoughts and yesterday. And even though you've long moved on, my heart still plays the same old song. still carry the version of you I love, the one who stayed when life got tough. You may be gone, but here you live in all the love I tried to give. And maybe someday I'll set you free, but for now you're still a part of me. I still carry the version of you I love. Long after you moved on, you didn't leave with a loud goodbye. No slam doors, no final fight. You just faded like a quiet sunset, turning something warm into night. You smiled at me like nothing's wrong, but your eyes whispered something true. And every day you slipped away a little farther out of view. Some heartbreaks hit like crashing waves, but yours was slow, the kind that stays. You broke me softly, like a whisper turning cold, like a story left unfinished, like a hand I couldn't hold. No sudden tears, no violent end, just pieces I couldn't defend. You broke me softly, and I'm still breaking now and then. You loved me in a gentle way, but gentle doesn't always last. You held me like a fragile thing, afraid to touch the broken past. I watched you trying not to hurt me, trying to leave without a scar. But even whispers can be painful when they say who we really are. I wish you'd heard me all at once, instead of fading as you run. You broke me softly, like a whisper turning cold, like a story left unfinished, like a hand I couldn't hold. Slowly hurts much deeper than a shout. You didn't mean to tear me open, didn't want to watch me fall, but soft or not, the break was real, and silence hurts the most of all. You broke me softly, but the wounds still found their place. And every night I think too much, every memory of your face. If healing comes, it's coming slow, but part of me still needs to know why you broke me softly when you could have let me go. I still remember how you held me, like you were learning who I was. Your touch was quiet, soft and certain, the kind of love that didn't rush. And even though we're far from them, my chest still warms at every trace, because no one's ever touched me the way you did without a word to say. It's strange how skin remembers love, even when the heart's had enough. My heart still knows your hands, the way you held me when you could, the way you softened all my edges, the way you loved me like I was understood. Time has taken us apart, but your touch lives inside my heart. My heart still knows your hands, even when you don't know mine anymore. I thought forgetting you meant healing, but memories don't fade on command. Sometimes I feel you in the spaces where life doesn't go the way I planned. You weren't perfect, neither was I, but somehow we fit for a while. And though our story ended quiet, the thought of you still makes me smile. It's strange how love can linger on long after everything is gone. My heart still knows your hands, the way you held me when you could, the way you softened all my edges, the way you loved me like I was understood. Time has taken us apart, but your touch lives inside my heart. My heart still knows your hands, even when you don't know mine anymore. Maybe in another life your fingers would still trace my scars, or maybe we'd be holding on instead of drifting into separate stars. But here and now I honor us, the love we had, the love we lost. Some touches stay forever warm, no matter what the ending cost. My heart still knows your hands, like a memory carved in gold, a tenderness that still returns in nights when everything feels cold. And though we walk on different roads, some loves never fully go. My heart still knows your hand more than you will ever know.